Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Ringside Apex Predator boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Ringside Apex Predator boxing gloves. Comes in this one colorway with black, red, white, and blue. Two different sizes, 16 or 14 ounces. I got mine in 16. And one type of closure, which is going to be this tapered Velcro strap. Very similar to what Rival has with their Ergo strap. So essentially the strap rises up a little bit higher to give you a little bit more support on the lower portion of your palm and a higher portion of your wrist. So it gives you a little bit more of a locked-in feel. This particular glove is manufactured in Pakistan and utilizes a couple of different materials. You do have genuine leather, which is going to be on the striking surface of the glove all the way to the back of the glove, and then you also have the synthetic polyurethane casing over the thumb, as well as on the palm side and on the back of the wrist where the wrist support is at. You do have mesh. I know a lot of you guys aren't fans of that in terms of durability, but you do have that mesh that goes around the grip bar right there. And then you also have this longer strap. And this material right here looks very similar to the genuine leather they use, but it's actually a synthetic leather that goes on the Velcro strap itself. Now, I've done reviews in the past of the Ringside Apex training gloves. Never done the ones for the Predators, but essentially they're pretty much the same glove except for maybe the wrist support on this. It does utilize molded foam, IMF, injected molded foam, like the vast majority of Ringside gloves does. I did notice that the molded foam on this tends to be a little bit softer over the punch area, which is a good thing, especially for sparring, so it's a little bit more forgiving on your sparring partner. It definitely is on the dense side, like most molded foam is, but it tends to be a little bit softer, and you shouldn't have any issues in terms of the break-in period with the foam that it goes over your knuckles. In terms of design, this glove I would say is on the medium to larger side when it comes to the actual profile, width, and height of this glove. You have, again, the genuine leather over the punch surface. You have the big Ringside belt logo that goes over the actual punch surface right there. I think it's a little bit outdated. I think Ringside has been kind of going with this design for several years now with a lot of their gloves, and I feel, in my opinion, it could definitely utilize a refresh in terms of the way the gloves look. It does say IMF Tech on the thumb over there. The synthetic polyurethane, again, like their Apex, even in their speed bags and some of the other gloves, has kind of like that carbon fiber look to it when you look at it at a different angle. Coming down to the wrist, you also have a 3-inch Ringside Velcro strap with the plastic patch. It is a sparring glove, at least that's how they intend it, and that's how they advertise it. So it would have been nice if they used maybe like a cloth patch or something a little bit softer or smoother or rubberized, because this plastic patch right here does have some edges to it. So if you're going to use this for sparring, I would definitely tape this off. That way you don't cause any kind of cut or kind of an abrasion against your sparring partner. The good news is that the Velcro strap is kind of recessed, so that helps out a little bit in the fact that the way the strap sits down, it sits flush with the wrist support because the wrist support is recessed. So you can see that the way it sits in there, it sits a little bit more flush and doesn't sit on top of the wrist support. The back of the wrist is really firm in terms of padding. You have maybe about an inch of firm padding on the back of the wrist. On the inside of the wrist, it's very soft, and maybe I would say like maybe 1/8 of an inch on the inside of the wrist. The padding goes up to right about here. And it's kind of unique in the way they designed this, where it has kind of this L shape when it comes to the closure. And then you also have the elastic band that is on the lower portion right here. So you can really tell that Ringside really wanted to put an emphasis on your wrist being supported when you put this glove on. And you also notice that this Velcro strap that's tapered up actually has, I would say, almost 1 inch of padding on the strap itself. So you can see how thick this padding is on this strap. To give you that extra support, and that's more of like a smooth tricot liner that they use. And here's the Velcro, that blue piping again, and this padding that goes up kind of comes up to the palm. It says the best in boxing. That's the Ringside slogan or their motto. You also have, you have your breathable holes right here on your thumb, a nylon attached thumb right there, and then the mesh palm with the grip bar that has a good size to it. You can definitely feel it's nice and firm in that regard. Quality of the gloves actually were on point with weight, which is a great thing to see, especially when it comes to a sparring glove. It's debatable in terms of the material that's used, especially at the price point, which we'll discuss here on how much these gloves cost. It would have been nice to see that this glove was full genuine leather instead of using mesh on the palm, as well as this synthetic polyurethane on the thumb, on the palm right there, as well as this synthetic right here. But that's just what Ringside decided to go with. Not a huge fan of injected molded foam in that regard. You can actually start to see that the foam itself starting to get those little bumps that you see with molded foam, and that's actually in the foam itself, and that little impression you see kind of pushes itself on the leather. And again, I noticed that with a lot of molded foam gloves, you'll start seeing these little dimples pop up all over the foam. Obviously they kind of went cheaper with the nylon attached thumb, and to me these are features that you would see on an entry-level glove at a much lower price point when you involve all of this synthetic material. If it was a full leather glove, then that would be a different story. The glove is pretty well balanced. It feels to be a little bit top heavy, but they do a pretty solid job of incorporating enough padding in this midsection right here to keep the glove pretty well balanced. And you can see it has a little bit of a drop on it, but not much. And again, molded foam to me is kind of a cheaper type of foam in my opinion. They inject it into the actual molding of the glove. And it's just one thick layer of foam, and that's pretty much it. So when it comes to like feedback and performance and in terms of feel, when it comes to a boxing glove, it's pretty much the same throughout when you go with a molded foam glove. Very much more on the protective, shock absorbing side. When it comes to feedback, not so much. You can see the stitching looks pretty good throughout the glove and on the palm. So in terms of craftsmanship, it's pretty solid. I mean, you can see that stitching right there is a little bit crooked, but I mean, if we're gonna be nitpicky, I guess we should be nitpicky. But overall, I can't complain in terms of like the stitch quality or the thumb meets the index finger. It's more about just the materials that they use, essentially. I wouldn't necessarily call it a complaint, but just a critique on the glove. Comfort of the glove, sliding your hand in here. Although the glove definitely has a larger looking profile to it, it looks like a bigger glove. It's actually pretty comfortable. The thumb itself has good positioning. It's nice and parallel. I didn't feel like this piping right here pinched down on the fat part of my thumb, so that's a good thing. And the finger compartment is definitely on the has a nice deep feel to it. They actually have a flat piece of neoprene right here, so as you continue to use these gloves, your fingers will kind of make their imprint in the inside of the glove and basically become the shape of your hand. Grip bar is in a good spot. The depth and the width of the finger compartment is perfect. So it's not too wide, not too narrow for sure. It is a bit on the stiff side, just like molded foam gloves typically are. So that's pretty much as far as I can open my hand. So in terms of being able to open your hand to parry a shot, it's going to definitely take more time to really loosen up that molded foam. The wrist support feels really good, and I feel like that's probably the biggest key difference with this Apex Predator glove compared to the other Ringside gloves, is that you have better wrist support in this regard in this section of the glove, aside from the fact that this glove is only in 14 or 16 ounces, so you can't go any smaller with this particular glove because of the fact that it's a sparring glove. So wrist support feels good, thumb feels good, hand compartment feels good as well. Protection and performance. One thing about the performance of this glove is I hate these rounded off punch surfaces. And when you land with this glove, it doesn't get that much compression because of how dense the molded foam is. So it's good for absorbing shock, and for the Apex Predator glove, it's a little bit softer than some other molded foam gloves, so it's good for sparring, but again, still a little bit on the stiff side. You can use it for bag work, and I feel it does a really good job for bag work as well. It does a nice job of absorbing your power and protecting your knuckles and giving you wrist support. So, in my opinion, makes a good sparring glove, but also makes a really good training glove if you're looking for something that's more on the protective end rather than something that you want with feedback and pop, in my opinion. Cost-wise, this glove is $99 through Ringside. I definitely think it's overpriced at the $100 price point. All things considered, with materials they use in here, for a glove that's $100, I would expect, especially compared to all the other gloves that are out there in the market, for this glove to be a fully genuine leather glove, no skipping quarters or no cutting corners with, you know, like nylon attached thumbs, mesh on the palm. You know, this is kind of like the features you would see on an entry level, like $39, $49, you know, $30, $40 glove, in my opinion, but not a glove that's $100. So a solid glove overall. I just feel like the materials they use for this could be increased or made better. And I wish, again, like I mentioned before about Ringside gloves, that they offer this in a different padding style rather than just molded foam. But definitely a solid glove for sparring, a solid glove for bag work, in my opinion. But I think you definitely could do better at this price point. Maybe at $60, $70, it would be a good deal. But if you're insistent on getting this glove, I would definitely wait for a sale from Ringside to get these for much cheaper than their regular retail price. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box so you can find these Ringside Apex Predator boxing gloves. See you guys later. Take care.